easiest way to live your life is also the easiest way to ensure that you'll stay stuck forever. Or if you're anything like me, you'll wake up one day and realize your actions do in fact have consequences. Now, tell me if this sounds like you. You get up 2 hours before you have to go to work or school, you get dressed, maybe you eat, you go to your full-time responsibility, and when it's over, you come home and sink into the couch and stay there until it's time to sleep. If it does, know that you are not alone. For the longest time, this was me too. Sometimes it still is. Comfort is the quiet killer of progress. Your comfort zone is a trap, and where your dreams and ambitions go to die. So how do we recognize the trap? Where do we draw the line of comfort and complacency? And how can we break free of what's keeping us stuck? Stick around until the end to find out. Real quick, if you like the video, consider leaving a like. If you make it to the end and want to see more of what I do, hit that subscribe button down below. Now let's get into how to break free from the comfort zone trap. In my last video, I talked about how anything is good in moderation, but indulging in something in excess can become a problem very quickly. Seeking comfort really is no different. If you come home after work and you want to sit down for 20 minutes just to unwind, there's no problem with that. If you're coming home every single day, sitting down for hours, not taking care of yourself, not taking care of your responsibilities, the negative return on investment here is going to stack up pretty quickly. So step one here is really be honest with yourself. Are you really just relaxing after a long day? Or are you running away from the other responsibilities in your life that still need your attention? If all you want to do is come home and scroll on your phone for hours to numb the pain, then you're going to stay stuck in the same place with seemingly no way out. By choosing instead to recognize relaxation time as a small window before getting back to what you need to do, you can still have that unwinding moment at the end of your day, but also not let everything else pile up quietly in the background. Even this one small change can make the world of a difference. By now, you're probably wondering, what is the comfort trap? Sure, I've talked about how to see the difference between taking a break and ignoring reality, but I haven't explicitly told you what the comfort trap is either. So let's do that now. In short, it's chasing short-term relief in cheap pleasure. I've mentioned doom scrolling already as an example, but this isn't limited to just using your phone. Your comfort trap can be playing too many video games. It can be reading. It can be spending time on any hobby. As long as it holds you back from completing something important in your life, where you're choosing comfort over something that should take precedence, that is the trap. Now, that's not to say all hobbies are equally bad. At the top of the list, the phone is definitely the worst of them. Doom scrolling on your phone provides no value. It is an algorithm designed to keep you hooked for as long as possible, maximizing how much attention you give to whatever app you're using. Even though reading and playing video games are both susceptible to becoming comfort traps, you're still getting some value from them. Playing games requires you to use your brain, develop strategy, and stay engaged. Reading is a bit of a weird one. You seemingly get a lot of value out of the activity. You're processing language and diving into a story. Traditionally, it's been viewed as one of the better habits or hobbies to have. But just like the other examples, too much of a good thing can be bad. If you're reading all the time and it gets in the way of completing something more important, you are choosing something you actively enjoy over hard work you are either putting off or simply do not want to do. Watching TV is another one where, yeah, you're getting invested in a story and characters and it actually requires some level of attention, but if you binge multiple episodes at a time and you do that consistently, of course it's going to have some form of negative pushback on you. These are definitely some of the more obvious examples, but I'd love to hear of any others that you might have personal experience with. Let me know down in the comments. I'll say it again, anything is good in moderation. Letting it overtake your priorities is where it gets you into trouble. This is the line between taking a moment to relax and be comfortable momentarily versus choosing comfort to the point of becoming complacent. But why do we choose to overindulge when we know it's bad for us? Again, it's all about prioritizing short-term pleasure over something that is more difficult or more intensive. Think about every time you look for a snack and have to choose between a cookie and a fruit bowl. You know the fruit bowl is the healthier option, but there's usually some prep work involved. Washing the fruit, peeling it, cutting it up, while the cookie's just there, ready to go as is. It's so easy, and you know that the sugar in it will make your brain happy in the moment. Not so good when the sugar crash comes, because one cookie became two or three, and the carbs and sugar leave you feeling hungry for more. We don't want to sacrifice more of our time, even when it will make our life easier down the road. Why would we, when a more exciting, faster rewarding option is right there in front of us? We make the active choice to do harm to our future self because it stops our current self from feeling any sort of friction. Hard work is a powerful antidote to lots of problems in life, and it's completely overshadowed by our selfish desire to feel comfortable as often as possible. Now, that's not to say I'm no saint either. This choice of easy and comfortable over something less appealing, less rewarding, I'm still guilty of it. As much as I try to do what needs doing, I still fall back on awful habits and chase that easy dopamine hit when the idea of buckling down on something feels overwhelming. I'm not trying to sell you this ideal, picturesque life of mine because it doesn't exist. I have just lived enough life that I've learned a few ways to fight back against it. So, how do you break free from the sweet scent of comfort? And how do you silence the part of you that screams like a toddler in a fancy restaurant whenever you're faced with a task with literally the bare minimum level of difficulty? It's actually pretty simple, though don't take that to mean it's going to be easy or painless. It couldn't be farther from the truth. The first thing to note about any method of rising above your indulgent behaviors is the amount of energy and effort it will take, regardless of what the energy and effort look like. Broadly speaking, there are two lanes towards freedom: slow, consistent growth, or fast, risky moves. Which one works for you will depend on what kind of person you are. Slow and steady wins the race is such a cliche thing to say, but the lesson in it is true, regardless of whatever the goal is. Investing your money is a long game of slowly contributing smaller sums of money to an account and have it compound over 30, 40 years to build your financial freedom by the time you retire from your career. Getting in shape or losing weight is all about controlling what you eat and how often you train every day to see progress towards your goal over a span of weeks, months, and even years. It's the effect of small, consistent steps over a long period of time. Not all ventures outside of your comfort zone are equal, but by showing up in some small way every day, the results of your struggles will eventually become noticeable the longer you stick to it. If you have trouble with this sort of approach, and you need more frequent, intense bursts of reward, then the slow approach might not be for you. What might work better for you is what I call ripping off the band-aid. By reaching the point where the compound effects of choosing to neglect your future self begins to actively cause you grief, you tell yourself, I've had it. Time to change. You completely overhaul the aspects of your life that aren't desirable anymore and start a whole new set of habits that have your future best interests in mind. You still have to be consistent for this to work, and it actually takes way more effort to keep this kind of change from blowing up in your face than if you were to take the slow approach. The trade-off for all that extra effort is in how quickly you see your progress. 5 days in the gym every week on a 600-calorie deficit will get you to lose weight way faster than 3 days a week and a 200-calorie deficit, but it will be way harder to maintain for someone who is just beginning their weight loss journey. Even experienced athletes and actors will tell you that intense training of that level is a miserable, unsustainable process over an extended period. I remember over the lockdown days of the pandemic, I hit this exact point of unhappiness where I wanted to make a massive change and get in shape for the first time since I was a small kid. I started doing cardio every day, I stopped eating sweets entirely and cut down to 2 meals from 3 a day, and I was doing a circuit of bodyweight exercises 6 times a week. This lasted 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I barely made it the length of a pay period before I defaulted back to my lifestyle from before. I beat myself up over how quickly I gave up and tried again, but less aggressively. I took a 1-day break after every 3 days of cardio, I let myself have 1 treat a day, and I was doing the circuit 3 times a week. And I managed to stick with it and lost 20 pounds over the course of that year. This habit was broken when everything opened up again and I changed jobs. I got complacent, disguising it as a break while I adjust to my new environment, and only in the last month have I finally been able to start working towards that goal again. Let this be a lesson. Don't miss 2 days in a row. I forget who said this, but if you miss 1 day, it was a mistake. If you miss the second day, then it was a choice. Just as I chose to step out of my comfort zone and try to better myself, I just as easily chose to step back in when an excuse presented itself to me. You always have the choice. So, the slow approach is great if you can choose to be mildly uncomfortable consistently to see progress in small steps. The fast approach works when you have trouble with delaying gratification and need that quick, shiny reward to keep you motivated. Neither is easy, neither is effortless, and neither is worse than staying stuck exactly where you're trapped right now. Whether you're taking those first steps towards breaking out of the trap, or continue to distance yourself from the comfort of complacency, remember that you will face setbacks. No progress is truly a one-way street. On your journey, you will run into unexpected challenges that will threaten to undo all of the work you have put in to get there. Stay strong and remember what got you to take those first steps into the unknown. When setbacks do happen, do your best to take them in stride. Acknowledge them and keep pushing until they're behind you. For every loss you face, remember all the wins that you celebrated to get this far. Don't let one bad experience send you right back to the trap you fought to break free from. If you've made it this far into the video, thanks for sticking with me on this one. Remember to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like these. If there's another video you'd like to see me make, let me know down in the comments below. The better part of my life, I coasted along pretty freely doing whatever I wanted. I played lots of video games, I left my homework in grade school until the very last minute because I wanted to play music instead, and I did the bare minimum work because I wasn't feeling challenged by my courses, and I was praised for doing well in spite of all that. I'm not bragging either. All of these problems came together when I got to university and struggled to output the effort in order to keep up with the first real challenge of my life. I might make a video about this soon, but know that I have struggled to catch up on many of the critical life skills that I missed out on by virtue of coasting through my childhood. Comfort is one hell of a drug, and to this day I'm still fighting to stay one step ahead of it. Countless setbacks and excuses in hand, I've made so many mistakes getting here. The comfort zone trap is real, but it's not impossible to leave behind. Recognize when you're in it, figure out the best way to break free from it, and take one step at a time towards a life that you can be proud of. Thanks for watching the video, and until next time, take care.